Yo, this is Nick D.
I'm Brie K, and this is Kasari.
You already know what it is, man. It's William Cater.
Yo, this is DJ Lost and Found from the Missing Link podcast.
Hey, what up? It's Miss Hero from Pew Army.
This is Stephen the Levite.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy YP, aka Young Paul. You know what I mean? Representing the East Coast, New York, Jersey, stand up.
And you're tuned into the That's Not
Christian Podcast. Woo! Welcome everybody to I don't actually know what episode. Oh, episode 236. 236. I am here with I am Brie K, and I am here with the lovely Kasari and JSLA. And we have some cool topics that we're going to get into tonight. We're mostly talking about cults and stuff, so I'm excited. So how was everybody's weekend? I could actually go first because my house got flooded.
Wait, what?
Oh my god.
Yeah, we had a slab leak. So it wasn't like the whole house or anything, because that has happened before with the whole house.
You said a slab leak?
Yeah.
What's that mean?
I don't even know. This is the second time though this happened.
Probably a marble slab.
I don't know. This is the second time that it's happened.
It was coming from the ground?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you like in a regular house, or you like in a townhouse?
I'm in a townhouse.
Okay.
So I've had to move to a hotel, but like my studio is still at home, and I have like stuff at home, so I've been having to go back and forth. So it's been crazy. It's been a little crazy, but still, I'm just like, but thank the Lord I have somewhere to stay.
For real. Fast.
So yeah.
Yo, you don't sound like you on mic, by the way.
Oh. Ooh.
Oh, how do I do this? Oh, right here.
Yo, so they gotta dig a hole in your like living room or something and find out where the leak is and everything, right?
They're actually
perfect.
Yes, are we here? Oh yeah. Okay. So they actually like have a hole going from my bathroom to our garage, because behind my bathroom is like the garage is on the other side.
Yeah.
So going in through the garage, and then the toilet is currently in the bathtub. It's like it's a mess. It's a mess.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not a stranger to that. When my wife and I first bought this house, we had been renting it for years, and we first bought this house. The first week, actually not even like half a week. This is also a townhouse. So like on the first floor, I'm in the first floor. This is kind of like the basement, and then there's the garage like right in front of me. So there was a leak coming from the ceiling in the garage, and we're like, bro, like we just bought this house, like we broke, we ain't got no money to fix something, you know what I mean? And that's it. We actually had to fix two leaks within a month.
Dang.
And yeah.
The insurance didn't cover it?
No. Well, it was like the same thing, like for them to fix it versus me just getting one of the homie plumbers to do it. So, because you have to pay for them to come out or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, this sucks.
This is our third time. So the first time we had like a flood. The second time it was a slab leak like in the wall. And then this is the third time like since 2014 or so. So we're like very familiar with having to move to a hotel and live there for a bit and then come back. But fortunately, I think that it's going to be fixed tomorrow. So I'm like, thank God, because last time we were in the hotel for freaking like 6 months or something. And then another time we were in there for like 2-3 months.
Nah, that's crazy. 6 months.
Yes. Like it kept being like, oh, it's only going to be a week. And then it was like, okay, it's only going to be another week. And then it was like, okay, it's only going to be another few days. And it was 6 months later. We were still there. So
didn't they end up doing some renovations though?
Yeah, they did.
Might as well.
Right. Because like a lot of things got destroyed in the flood. So they like had to replace a bunch of stuff. Like they moved everything out. Like we had to remove in. So yeah, it was crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, right. No leaks over here. What about you, Kasari?
I was in bed rest because I got COVID.
Let's go.
Super spreader.
Right. Did you wear a mask?
No, hell no. Did you say mask?
Yeah, because
hell no. What's that?
You're supposed to wear a mask, and then he
not
said,
in bed.
It was like
You're not gonna listen to the CDC?
No.
Oh wow.
No,
that's crazy.
Listen to Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, who is my healer. Isaiah 53:5.
Come on.
Well, amen. She's better now.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Have you guys been keeping up with this whole hearing or Fauci in front of Congress?
No.
I'm like so done with it, man.
Yeah, me too. It's like
Bro, you know you lied.
no one's taking accountability. I mean,
Yeah, that's
no
that's
one's gonna get
exactly
in
what it is.
trouble.
That's
so.
exactly what it is. It's like he's saying like he said like this ain't even the topic, but he's just saying like, oh, you know what? Like there was this other committee. I was just kind of there, but I wasn't really there. And yeah, I signed the checks, but I didn't know what was going on. Somebody else was taking care of it. They were doing it's like, all right, bro, whatever.
No,
we got duped. We got duped.
Yeah, no, for sure. He needs to apologize.
Yeah.
And he needs to pay.
Get the money back.
For real. Crazy.
To the
It
taxpayers?
makes me mad. It makes me mad thinking about that stuff. Just everything that went down.
Bro, I remember not being able to go to the pool. Like they were like, no, you can't go to the pool. Like, what do you mean I can't go to the pool? Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's the pool.
For real. And not only that, but like the nurses and the doctors that they like forced out.
Yeah.
But then the travel nurses were able to see like that didn't
Yeah.
make sense. That
Yeah.
whole thing. And yeah, just that stuff just makes me
there's
boil inside.
If you guys can, there's a member of Congress. His name is Dr. McCormick. And he was interviewing Fauci. He said he was the only dude who actually treated patients, and they have a nice little exchange.
Okay.
That's worth looking into. You don't have to watch. Like I'm like 2.5 hours in. There's like 2 hours left of the joint. Like I'm gonna watch it just so I can say I watched it.
Right.
I had I had a conversation with somebody this week about it because I was like, "Yo, Fauci lied," or what was it? Fauci made up the 6 feet, right? And so the guy was like giving me pushback. He's like, well, he didn't say it was the CDC, you know. It's like he said he was in the room, you know what I mean? So I wanted to watch the whole thing just so you know I could say like, look, I watched it. I know what he said, you know what I mean? But yeah,
that's funny.
Anyway, so are you feeling better?
Yes, 1,000 times better.
Praise God, everybody.
I know, praise God.
Amen. Well, did you take anything for the COVID?
Holistic things.
Have you wait? You've got it before, right?
Yeah.
How was it this time in comparison to like previous time?
It just felt like a cold, a sinus flu.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like that.
Okay.
It wasn't that bad.
Gotcha.
I was in bed like maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. So like 4 days.
Wow.
But I tested positive on Sunday.
You tested?
I mean, not positive, negative. Negative or positive?
You tested
positive on Wednesday night and then
negative
on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't take those tests no more.
I mean,
you guys want to know something crazy?
What's that?
I've never taken a COVID test.
Word?
That's good.
Yeah, like the entire duration of everything, I've never taken one. But I know I had it. I know I had it twice.
Yeah. I took the test because like you had to take it to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you couldn't go anywhere if you didn't have like a negative. You either had to have a card or you had to be vaccinated, right?
Yeah.
I still have some cards if anybody wants vaccine card.
We don't even need. Nobody needs it.
Seriously. I mean, after people dropping dead and stuff, frick.
But
Switch is saying get vaxxed.
Yeah, he's like triple vax, I think.
Oh dang.
He did it for free. Like
That's
he did it like just for fun.
For a gift card.
I was gonna say he didn't get anything.
No. Jay did. Jay got like a whole merch pack. He got like a gift card, a t-shirt, a backpack, a water bottle, the whole nine. You know?
Oh, okay.
I think I think he got Shake Shack too. Switch just did this for fun. He's like, I'm gonna get it.
LNF said Fauci, Mr. Ouchie.
Facts though. Facts.
The Creatives Network thinks he's funny. He said, give context. We just came in. Who's the father? Switch said for cab fare and some pizza. That's funny.
That's hilarious.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Are we off the COVID talk?
Yeah, we done. Yeah.
Okay. So real quick, before we get into the Dancing for the Devil, because obviously we want to talk about that, but real quick, the Sean Kingston thing. JSLA, before we hopped on here, before we turned on the camera, you said you don't really feel like it's a big deal. Can you explain?
Because so he finessed allegedly. He finessed some people, right? Like he finessed some people. Like he got a couple cars, he got some watches, he got some jewelry, right? So he just owes people money. He owes people a lot of money, right? But it's like,
I see.
you know what I mean? It's like, bro, this is like an issue for like your creditors. Like, send them to collections or something. You know what I mean? And I feel like he's kind of dumb too, because if they're going after him, you didn't set up your LLC, your S corp properly, bro. You know what I
So why
mean?
are
Like,
they saying fraud?
because he used his what I read was that he used his star power to say like, yo, I'm working with Justin Bieber or whatever, you know what I mean, like I'm about to get some bread or whatever. So then like he used that, it's, you know, like I guess they didn't do a credit check or something, you know what I mean, they didn't check his income. He's like, yo, like don't trip, you know what I mean, I'm working with Justin Bieber right now, we about to have a hit. And like, so he made a couple payments, and then after that he stopped paying. So like now they're trying to get him. But I feel like, yo,
And the mom too.
Right, they
I'm
said
just
him
up.
and his mom.
Yeah,
You
his
know, she
mom.
did
Yo, his mom looked
time
crazy.
before. Really?
She looked crazy, bro. She did time.
She did time before.
She looks like she did time.
Dang.
Really?
She looks like she did time. Check out them eyebrows though. They're like 1990s eyebrows.
Wow, not the eyebrows.
Yo, for real. They look like Mi Vida Loca eyebrows. And she's black. Like, which is
We
bugging me out.
We gonna judge her for the eyebrows.
Oh,
She looks like she's from the West Coast eyebrows.
she looked like Yolanda.
She does.
She looks like-
Yolanda Sandoval.
She looks like La Sad Girl.
Dang.
You guys are dirty. That's messed up. Y'all talking
Yeah.
about my family right now. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Okay. Well, I didn't know the ins and outs of it, but I was laughing
Crazy.
so hard because when, first of all, in the court where the lady, she kept going with the charges, like it was like she kept going.
Oh, I didn't see that.
She kept going and go. I was like, dang.
How many charges is it?
I don't even know,
What the
but she was
fuck?
going on for a minute. But I was
Yeah.
laughing because the first comment says somebody called 911, and I'm like,
Yeah.
people are so clever.
Yeah. So I think he got like a couple Escalades, some watches, like a 262-inch screen or something like that. Just masked up. And I'm thinking like, bro, you dumb. Like you got all this bread, right? Like that people lent you. Like you could have bought a house or something. You know what I mean? Like and flipped it.
crazy.
Like you spent your credit on watches. Like, come on, bro.
That's
So-
crazy.
Oh, he's saying
Yeah.
he's innocent.
I mean, yeah, I didn't defraud you. You know what I mean? My money just is funny right now. You know what I mean? I thought I was gonna have this deal and it didn't happen. You know what I mean? Like I'll send
That's
you what's the
crazy.
minimum payment. You know what I mean? I'll send the payment.
That's
you know what I mean? Like,
wild.
I just feel like it's, I don't know, something else is going on with that joint because like really you taking like this has never happened in the history, you know what I mean, of people not paying their bills.
Right.
Like this is news, like really, like come on. Like mad people didn't pay their bills.
So it says the charges against him include grand theft, fraud, criminal use of personal identification, and violation of probation for trafficking stolen property.
Yeah, I imagine. I don't know what the trafficking of. I think the trafficking of stolen property is what he's on probation for. I think that's what he's on probation for. But it could be like if he didn't pay, like if he didn't
he's
pay his
violating that.
Escalade, if he didn't pay his Escalade, it's considered stolen, right? So if he takes it across state lines,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Now you trafficking. Like, what do you mean?
I
was
mean, he
driving
is
my-
stealing if he didn't pay for it.
Very true.
He is. What the Bible say? All thieves.
Hey, they just send the Operation Reaper over to his crib, you know, and have them take the car, man. Like all this is just seems like it's just a lot, bro.
You think it's just like theater?
I do, man. I mean, the U.S. government don't be paying their bills. Come on,
That's true.
like, bro. Yeah, that's why I feel like I just like, bro. That it just seems like they're just trying to make the most out of this situation. But maybe there's more details that we just don't know yet. You know,
True.
maybe I could be wrong. Like all the information isn't out there. There's just a couple articles that I read, which kind of went into those details about the car and the watches and the TV screen. I thought that was crazy. Like, bro, you bought watches and a 262-inch TV. Like, that's what you spend your money on. Like, you owe $500,000 on watches. Like, you could have bought a
that's
condo,
crazy.
bro. Like, you
Low-key,
could bought a condo. You know what I mean? Like, and paid everything off.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it was like a couple years ago.
Right.
Yikes.
Wow. Yeah. So anyway,
Well,
that's why I said like, bro, it's not a big deal.
You know how you can't say like what do they call it? Like self-deletion. You can't say that on YouTube, like the word.
Right. Yeah.
So like would he get in trouble for would we get in trouble for playing his song? Beautiful Girls, because he says the high
Yeah. You know what? That's crazy too, because that would used to be on the radio and on YouTube all the time. And I imagine
know.
now, like if you drop that song, you probably get like 2 views. Or you gotta edit it, something.
Dang.
I was just wondering. But anyway. LNF said 200-inch TV
I
is a
read that.
priority.
I just read that.
Oh, shoot. Sorry.
That's hilarious.
I'm
And why
saying,
Fauci ain't on Creative Network said why Fauci ain't on trial though.
Good question, man. Right to your congressman.
Right. So anyway, are we off
Yeah.
Sean Kingston?
We off. We off.
Okay.
100%.
Moving right along to our next topic, which is the Netflix special, Dancing for the Devil.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to give a summary of? I know you watched the first episode.
Yeah, I just started watching it because you had mentioned it. And we were discussing like what kind of topics, or one of you mentioned it about the topics, and I'm like, what are they talking about? Like I had totally missed the conversation. I'm like, what are they talking about? And then I went to go look at the trailer, and I was like, oh. So then I was like, let me see. I went on because I'm in my office. Yeah, I'm in my office. So, and when you watch it on the browser, you can watch it like 1.5 is the fastest you can watch it. I was like, let me see if I can knock out these 3 episodes before the show starts. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to. But I got through the first one. Very interesting. But yeah, so it's a Netflix new documentary, right? It just dropped like this week. Is that right?
Yeah, like on last Thursday or something.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
Or Wednesday, actually. What?
The
Like-
documentary?
Yeah, like this whole situation. This,
Oh
this
yeah,
church
I didn't
either.
either.
like is
Have you guys seen their videos though? Like you've seen them before,
I've
right?
seen their videos.
No, I'm not on TikTok, so I don't.
Oh, I am.
I've seen like a couple of them,
Me too.
like just I don't even know, passively.
Yeah,
So when they were showing them, I was like, oh, that's crazy. So, well, just to give like a kind of a summary for people that didn't watch it, Twin, you can help me because sometimes I'm all over the place. But basically, there was this pastor. There was this pastor of a church called Shekinah here in California, and he also ran like a management company called 7M, and he signed all of these TikTok dancers to 7M, and it was like TikTok dancers that had like between like the hundreds of thousands of followers to like millions of followers, and he signed them all and basically let them live on his like properties and stuff like
Right.
that, and basically just create content and make all this money. And it turned out to be one of the girls that signed to it, her family went live and were basically saying she doesn't talk to us, we can't reach her, she's in a cult, basically.
Yeah.
So it kind of like brought attention to it, I guess on the internet, which I didn't know that all of this was going on, but I guess on the internet it brought attention to that family and 7M and all of these different TikTok dancers that they had signed. And basically it's a cult. Like, I mean, at least that's what it's kind of being presented as far as they were playing clips from the pastor who was basically telling people that they needed to cut their family off in order to save them.
Even
And
their
like,
kids,
yeah, even their own children and stuff.
like
and
dependent children, like babies.
yeah, he was saying to save them, you need to cut them off. And he also had like them forcing them to give tithe offering and a man of God
Pastoral.
like fee to him, and they also had to pay
Management
for
fee.
management fees.
Yo, that
rent.
was crazy because they were giving up like 50% of the bag.
I
70.
know.
They were
That-
like saying it was like
Yes.
70%.
That was wild. I'm like, yo, taxation is theft, bro. I was like, yo, hold up, bro. Like, what you mean?
They would make like $18,000 and only end up seeing like $2,000 of it. It was like, it was
And then
wild.
get charged $2,200 for an apartment in like Sunland.
Right.
When Sunland is not a nice neighborhood. Like it's like right, like 10 minutes away from me. Yeah, it's not.
That's crazy.
I'm
So-
sorry. Go on. I'm sorry.
Well, it was, I know you watched the first episode, so I'm
Mhm.
sure that you saw the girl's family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how she married the guy and they didn't
Mhm.
tell anybody or anything. Like her family found out online, but she was still basically she still has communication with her family. Like the pastor started saying, oh, you can go ahead and talk to them. But basically just to show that
After they
like
went live.
yeah, this was after the family went live. He was saying, "Oh, go talk to your families and stuff like that." But
Right.
the girl's contingency is basically do not bring up the church like at all,
Mhm.
basically. So,
And
in
he also encouraged the members to reach out to their families once that happened too. He started encouraging it,
Yeah.
and that's what kind of like set off some of the other members. They're like, wait a minute, he ain't never talked about this, and then he made them sign NDAs in church
That was weird.
for the church service, and they're like, wait, hold up, what is going on here?
yeah. So, what did you guys think? Like when you were like, I don't know, what did you guys think about it when you were like listening, watching it, and hearing the Chinito talk?
I rebuke you, Satan. What the hell? I was like, I said, you, Satan.
That's what you say.
No, but when I don't know. Sorry, Jay.
No, spoil. There's definitely
you, but-
spoiler alerts. If you ain't watched this, you could go ahead and just
But
hit the thumbs up before you leave because we're about to talk about it.
Right. But the part where the sister that's free, I forget her name. It's not Miranda. It's the other one. Melanie. Okay. She was talking about how they had invited her over for dinner and she joined her sister and all the dances.
And then they had a Instagram together. There were
yes, the Wilkins sisters.
Yeah, they were a group.
Yes. And she had went over and then the pastor, whatever, started praying for her, and then they gathered in a circle and he was like praying for her and like speaking in tongues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, why are you perverting? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just, to me, I was like, okay,
Demonic.
yes, it's demonic. Like, how are you doing all that?
Yo, and then so there was a part, I think it was Melanie who said that that he was praying in tongues, and then he was like that, okay, first he asked her like, if you die right now, would you go to heaven or hell? He's like, no, you're going to hell. You sinned 1,000 times today. And he started praying in tongues, and then he's like, okay, you cool.
And she was like, I'm never going to
she's like, I don't know what's going on. I thought
right, because she said they were raised Catholic.
Yeah.
And then there's another part she said where she was driving her friend to the airport.
And so you need to be at the church tonight, and you could only come by invite. Right?
Yeah,
you could only come by invite. You can't just like walk in.
Yeah, VIP only, right? The church is VIP only. That's and the pastor's daughter called her and was like, you need to come right now. Tell your friend to catch an Uber. She's like, what? Like, you bugging. Like, hey.
Right.
I ain't never been to a church where I got to drop everything to go. She's like, you are wild.
I know. She's like...
And then the grandpa died. Right?
Oh,
the grandpa died. Yeah. And the sister did not come to the funeral.
She's like, let the dead bury the dead.
She didn't even say that though.
Oh my god.
She said ashes. Right. Yeah, so she didn't go to the funeral. She just at the last minute said that she wasn't going. And so they haven't really like talked to her since then. Not really. Like they talk to her and they see her, but not, they can't like talk
they talked to her when she pulled up on them on the live, right?
Right. When
that
she
was weird.
The parents said that they didn't know like until like she just had the camera
in the corner.
On yeah, but the daughter looked like she looked weird, bro. She looked like she was angry. She looked like she was hurt. Like maybe. Yeah.
She just looked mad. Yeah, she looked like
why you mad?
Like all agitated.
Yeah, why are you mad that your parents love you and they're trying to reach out to you? You know,
right?
Like,
and did she really think that was gonna get the crowd, like social media, on her side?
Right.
I was like, if anything, I would have been on the parents' side even more because that's crazy.
It was weird.
Yeah.
So further on in the other episode, so sorry to do a spoiler alert, but there's these two sisters that were Korean immigrants, and their story, it was so sad. What both of them, their dad left them in Korea, so their mom moved to the States and was basically an alcoholic. She worked all the time, so they didn't really see her. One of the sisters ended up finding the church. And so they both started going there. They both, the pastor and his wife kind of like took them in, gave them like a place to live and stuff like that. And they basically had like a bunch of like teenagers living with them and working for their different businesses and not really like giving them somewhere to stay. But like, well, they were she said she was making like $100 a week, but working like 50-hour weeks. Like it was like stuff like that. So
servants, huh?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. So one of the sisters though, her friend told her like it's a cult. like you need to get out. And he came and got her basically and like took her. And so they were going to go to the property where her sister was staying at and take her, but her sister didn't want to leave.
Mhm.
So the first sister got out in 2011 and the second sister barely got out in 2022.
How did she get out? Do they go over that?
Yeah, so basically these different women came out and were saying it was ranged from teenage girls to like adults, and they were saying that the pastor sexually assaulted them. And so the sister, she's talking about it, and she's basically saying that she used to give him massages naked. And when she was like still a teenager, and then obviously, and she would say that like he would say that whoever, like, I don't know, he had like all these different women fighting to be the woman of God.
He was grooming them. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was weird. And then like they'd be like fighting with each other, the girls, because he's showing one of them attention and like all this stuff, and like, being sexual with all of them. Like it just was like, it was disgusting. And first of all, this man is like old too.
Yeah, he's
like
100 years old or something.
So it was so gross. But he had like, all these women giving him massages and stuff like that. So his daughter actually ended up leaving when all these girls, they came in the middle of a service and they all started accusing him and saying all the stuff that he was doing to them. And he was trying to be like, they confronted him in the middle of service.
And his sister. His sister was like the house manager of one of the houses, and
the
she took
pastor's
care of
sister?
the girls. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So she also left, and she was over here like, "What did you do to the pastor?" Like, girl, you knew what was going on. Don't try to act.
Maybe she didn't know.
Yeah, maybe she didn't
the
know.
extent, but she left after that. She took the girl, like all those girls, and she left. And a lot of the people from the church left. That's when a lot of the TikTok dancers ended up leaving. But still, that one girl, Miranda, and the B-Dash, the guy she was married to, they stayed. They didn't leave.
Wow. What about the brother? Because the brother was B-Dash's videographer. That's how he got introduced.
Oh, the pastor's son?
Yeah.
He's still there, I think, because they said that the daughter left. The pastor's daughter ended up leaving, and she was with one of the guys who was like a top manager or whatever, and he ended up leaving too because he was doing a lot of the content and stuff for them also. And so they ended up leaving after that happened. That's like kind of when people left.
The daughter's Chloe.
Chloe, there you go. Yeah, she left. So
that's wild.
One thing that I thought about was, obviously all three of us, we're all West Coast. We all grew up around, like the entertainment industry and things.
Scientology around the corner.
Scientology buildings, Masonic temples on every, like we grew up around a lot of, the entertainment industry and stuff like that. Do you guys think, or how do you guys think, I guess people that are chasing their dreams, right? They move here to, try to become something, whether they're, in arts or whatever, something in entertainment. A lot of people move here to try and like make those dreams happen for themselves. And some people do, but I think that there's a lot of people that prey on the fact that people have dreams.
Yeah.
So
sure.
How do you think that people should navigate that if they're wanting to move from Wisconsin or, or wherever they live to come here and try to make something happen for themselves? Do you think that there's like a way to go about it?
That's tough. Yeah, man. Everybody's suspect. You know what I mean? Like I'm a natural skeptic. I'm a cynic. Right? Like I grew up in a different era, like where when I grew up, like there was missing kids on the milk cartons, right? So like when you drink milk, you see like a kid who's missing, you get mailers with missing kid. Like you would think that somebody was gonna snatch you up, watch out for people who are kidding. You know what I mean? Like it was just like it was that fear that was pumped in, into you. Like you were just programmed that way. So like I always by default think someone has bad motives. That's just how I'm programmed. You know what I mean? And then when you look at scripture, you see that, our hearts are evil and corrupt. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm confirmed. You know what I mean? Like it's just confirmed. And so I think that a lot of people, not just like people out of towners, I think people here, here too. Like I think they think that people are out to like help others and do good, and I just don't believe that. I think that most people are programmed for self-preservation.
I agree.
And so I think it's kind of learning to set boundaries. Number one, you know what I mean? Like, so one thing that convinced me this, actually, I thought about that this week too. Is like, I do a lot of walking. Like I walk every day. I do at least 2 miles every day. I walk. And it's funny how I'll walk next to somebody, like I'm passing them, and it's like they'll have a heart attack because they had no idea that like I was behind them, right? Yeah, and like me, when I walk, I'm always looking behind my shoulder, like always. Like I take like if I go half a block, I look behind me because sometimes like a kid will like zoom by you on like a scooter or something or a bike, and you're like, oh crap, you know what I mean? Like you don't know like what happened, you know, like where they came from, and you know, I just again, I grew up in like in the I was a teen in the late 90s, and it was a very violent time. And so you didn't want nobody running up on you, you know, because it's bad news, you know. So like I always look behind, you know, over my shoulder and everything else. But it's crazy how like I'll just be walking and like people just get so startled, like all ages too. Like they just didn't know that I was like I've been behind them for like 2 blocks, and then they suddenly see me beside them. They're like, you know. So it's people got to be aware of their surroundings, you know, and a lot of times people just don't have that situational awareness, you know, of like what's going on. They just this is the Cali, LA is like they say it's like, you know, the place where dreams are made, you know what I mean? But like I don't know, I feel like it's all smoke and mirrors, man. It's all smoke and mirrors, and I don't. Again, you gotta set boundaries. Yeah, yo, LNF, I do not sit with my back to the door. I do not.
Elena said, "Don't do the casting couch."
For sure.
Dang.
For sure. Yeah, it's difficult. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people are just gullible, you know, and people prey on those kind of people, especially those people who are vulnerable and may not have those kind of people who are invested in them. You know what I mean? Like predators always look for people who may not have like a father or a brother, right? Who's involved, right? Someone who's gonna protect them. Someone who isn't immediate close. And like for people who come out here because they want to be dancers, they want to be singers, they want to be whatever, like you leave Wisconsin, you know, to come here, like your family's, you know, however, you know, thousands of miles away, like who's gonna come and save you? You don't know nobody.
Right. Yeah.
And it's sad.
Right. And people like in the Midwest or where the population is like half of
not even
you know, it's really small. You don't have to do stuff like that, like JSLA, how you were saying, like, you know, you should watch your back. Like they don't have to do that because there's not a lot of people there, right? So it's just like you're coming from that into this situation like LA, and it's such a different world, that some people just aren't prepared for. And I think also like the Creative Network said, too many traumatic events as a child. I wish my parents had bred us to put this in better situation. Well, he brought up parents. So I was just like, I think that parents also don't build that foundation with their kids. Like, you don't do this or you don't do that. You know, if somebody's trying to take advantage of you, you know, this is what you do in this situation and stuff like that. So some people just aren't prepared. And not that it should solely like be their parents' fault, because as an adult, if you're like 18 and up, and you're deciding to move out here, like that is ultimately your fault, like for, you know, whatever troubles I guess you get into. But that is a really hard situation, especially if people are not mentally stable or like tough for that stuff, because they want the dream more than they want their soul, you know, or like they want the dream more than they want anything else. So it's just like, if somebody can guarantee, quote unquote, you the whatever, the acting deal or the whatever it is, the gig, you're gonna like do whatever it takes. And that just, I don't know, it's really sad, because you even in the doc, you see two sisters, they grew up in the same household. One was like, no, I'm not being fooled, and the other one was like, bruh, I'm all in.
Still in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's super sad.
Creatives Network asked a good question. How did you teach your kids to navigate in Cali J with access to excess?
Who had excess? Not me. You know what I mean? You know what? It's
maybe he means like excess of opportunity just because of where you are in California.
It's it's the same way, parents always try to protect their kids, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
my wife would role play with my kids, right? Like, what would you do if someone grabs you from behind like this? You know what I mean? Like, you try to tell them, but at the end of the day, like y'all said, like, they're gonna do what they want to do. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, because they grew up in a different culture, right? A different generation. It's they're in a different generation. They didn't see the violence that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
We tried to give them a better life from the way that we came up.
Right.
And I think part of that is my fault for trying to kind of keep them in a bubble, and not expose them to certain things, where they begin to think like, oh, you're just crazy. You know what I mean? Like you don't know what's going on in the world. You know what I mean? Like, you're old or whatever. You know what I mean? And it's like, nah, bro. It's like ain't nothing new under the sun, man.
That's true.
Ain't nothing new under the sun. Like, yo. So here's the story. My daughter went up to college in San Francisco, and she was going to visit a friend, and she was ordering her Uber, right? And as she was ordering her Uber, she had gotten off the train. As she's ordering her Uber, a little kid, she said he was like maybe like 12, no older than 14, zooms by her in a scooter and snatches her phone. And he's gone. And these two or three other little kids that are with him in the scooters, they zoom by her too, and they're just laughing because they just snatched her phone. And I was mad. I'm like, bro, didn't I tell you to like situational awareness? Like, you like,
yeah.
But then the part of me is like, bro, like, chill, like, you know what I mean? Like, she just became a victim, you know what I'm saying? But a part of me is like kind of mad because like I've been told you about this like a million times, you know what I mean? So it's kind of difficult. Like, you can just like share with them, like, what's out there, the threats that are out there. But at the end of the day, it's like they gonna do what they want to do, you know what I mean?
Right.
And if they don't practice it, if they're not in the, like, if you're not practicing situational awareness daily, you know what I mean? If you let your guard down, someone's gonna take advantage of that, And as we've seen in the documentary, like, it's sad because these people were looking for God. They were looking for something.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there was a wolf, and he saw that they were vulnerable, and and took advantage of that.
Right.
I think that you talking about situational awareness is really good. I think it doesn't just apply to just physical surroundings, like you said. I think it also applies spiritually, because that's why the Bible tells you be sober-minded, be vigilant, right? Like, don't let your guard down, because the enemy will take advantage of that, right? So not just like, and sometimes it is through people though too. But I think it's not just physical, but like spiritual also. And I think these people, like you said, they were looking for something. They also, like, a lot of them were broke. A lot of them wanted community because they did move from other places.
Very true.
So, and they were talking about that it was hard for them because there's still people in the cult that they love, and that they were their friends, and that sort of thing that they had like built companionship with and all that stuff. So it's difficult, I think, because in one side, y'all know I love California. I love California so much. I never want to leave or anything, but I love Orange County more than LA because, and the reason why I love Orange County more than LA is because in LA, everybody wants something from you, and everybody wants to see how far they could get, is what it seems like to me, to see how much they can get. So, like you said, a lot of people, they just have self-preservation. Like, self-preservation is like at their core, and they don't, when it comes down to it, to choose between doing the right thing or playing you, they're going to play you every time. So that's why I kind of like, am wary sometimes about LA, but like there are people that do come out here and make something happen, make stuff happen for themselves, or there are people who make something happen for themselves wherever they are, and then they, you know, move out here to LA.
Right.
But I just think it's unfortunate. Like it's unfortunate that people can't just like come here and try to make their dreams come true because there are so many predators, you know?
Yeah.
So so when it comes to the cult thing, do you guys think how just separate from, you know, trying to make your dreams come true and stuff like that in entertainment, how do you guys think that people can avoid falling for being in a cult?
That's difficult. That's kind of difficult because like you don't know you're in a cult until you're in a cult. You know what I mean? Like like you don't know. It's like, wait a second, I'm in a cult. You know what I mean? Like that's what it seems like. Like these people, like they didn't know until like somebody confronted the pastor, and then they're like, oh snap, we gotta go. You know what I mean? That's tough. I think accountability is number one. You know what I mean? What does the accountability look like for the pastor? You know, and not just talking about like, oh yeah, accountability is important, but what does it look like? Who are you accountable to? You know what I mean? Yeah. That's big for me. I went to a couple of I went to two churches that I really loved, and both of those churches and I was really involved with, the pastor fell to sexual sin. And there was no accountability. There was no accountability. And so like now I know, you know, that's important, but at the time, like I just think he's accountable because he has elders and he has people who, you know, with him, but I don't know what that looks like. You know what I mean? So I think that's very important is to see what that accountability is like. Is your pastor approachable? Have a conversation with them and ask them what that looks like. You know what I mean? And then, you know, the other people around in the church, you know, talk to them and ask them questions and build relationships with them. And, you know, like at any time, if you're asking questions and people don't want to answer them or they're kind of evading, it's time to go. You know, if they're too secretive about stuff, like this ain't for me. Like I'm good. Right. I'm gone.
I think another major red flag too is if they're telling you to stay away from your friends and family.
Yeah, isolation. Right. If they're trying to isolate you, for sure, that's a red flag for sure. If they're trying to isolate, yes, 100%. I agree.
Right. I think another thing is like you should ask yourself, is this an even exchange, this relationship?
Yeah.
Because if they're just giving me a place to stay, but they're taking 70% of my check.
Hold up. Yeah. Wait a minute.
I don't even do that in the real world. Like
right.
Giving somebody 70% of my check. That's crazy to me.
Right. California only gives away 40, right?
Right. But it wasn't even though like they were giving in this documentary, they weren't giving them the option either. It was literally like, right oh, give it to us. We handle all the things. Sign all these checks with your name on it so that we can write them without having to come through you. Like it was like they
were depositing all that money into their account and then
taking it out, having them like sign every check in their checkbooks
as if they were giving it to the church.
Yes. So that way somebody else could handle their finances and write all these checks to all these different people for basically they took like, you know, up to 70.
Well, you know what? That's kind of good because they didn't have to pay taxes on it since they donated it to the church. You know what I'm saying?
I think that
because then it would go to Gavin Newsom. You know what I'm saying? And
but no, what? They still were paying taxes. They were
yes,
because
the church was paying them.
Yes.
So the church was getting a tax write off because they paid somebody.
Yes.
Wow.
This is so. And he had all these people doing all this like cheap labor for him. He had like real estate company, like real estate agents, all of them taking 70% of their check and is going to him. Like it was he had all these different properties, all these different businesses, had the teenagers working there for $100 a week,
whipping in Mercedes.
Yeah, he was balling out. Out and was like it was really sad.
The Creative Network says, where were their fathers at? That's what we're saying. The ones with had the sisters, the father was there.
And same with another guy that was in the documentary. His father was there too, but they cut them off.
Yeah, these are adults at this point.
Like for months,
right?
There was no contact, there was no responses to DM, and stuff like that.
But back to what the Creative Network said though, like if it was me, my dad would have fought everybody in there. Are you kidding me?
Seriously.
Well, I saw the dad in the beginning. The dad went to the house and he pushed the little ring camera or whatever it is. And he's like, hello. I want to see my daughter, bro.
No, that's nice. That would be nice.
We would have drove right. We would have gone to U-Haul, gotten a big truck.
You would have stormed the Capitol.
We January 6th, all up in that bitch.
That's
right.
Yo, bro, like what you mean? Like you just go playback static? Yo, I want to speak to my daughter, and I just
real talk. He's just staying there.
Hello, I know you hear me.
Right.
No, I'll be right back.
Right.
In California, when somebody says "I'll be right back," you know what that means.
They might not be back.
Smoke.
Right.
You better not be here when I come back. Yep.
For real. No, I'm like, I can't imagine. Like, I'm serious. If my dad would have snatched me out of there, tore the place up, burned the place to the ground, like left no remains. Like, I know for a fact. So I don't know as far as these fathers, they're being too nice. And then the parents like tried to go to the police and things, and the police were basically like, they're all adults.
Right.
Well, the police talked to what's it, Miranda, and she was with Chloe, right?
Yeah.
And they were like, nah, we good. We don't want to. We good. I'm fine. You know what I mean? Like basically, and the police were like, we can't do anything. And then when the two parents that got together, the four parents that got together, the two couples, when they had a group meeting, right? They met in a hotel or something like that, and they had like somebody who specialized in human trafficking and whatnot, and they're like, we can't do nothing. There's nothing that we can do because they're grown, and if we try to do something, it
makes it worse.
Yeah, it makes it worse. That's when like the abuse starts and whatnot, and the isolation even more. Right now, what you want to do is you just want to keep the lines of communication open. That's tough. That's very tough. I don't. So I told y'all like I was somewhat in a situation like that, but not really, right? So when I first came to the faith in 1999, right? And my mom was going to church, but I really wasn't liking her church because she was going to Victory Outreach. And for those of you who do not live in California, like California Victory Outreach is all about like, I used to smoke crack, I used to shoot people, right? and I used to do heroin and whatnot. I used to prostitute, like, and that just wasn't my lifestyle. So I never thought I needed Jesus because it's like, I don't smoke crack. You know what I'm saying? Like, I carried guns before, but I ain't never shot nobody. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good. I don't need Jesus. So like, I never really like connected with the church, right? So I never had like any like formal like a church type of experience. You know what I mean? Like I accepted Jesus like when I was in a jail cell. You know what I mean? I had gotten arrested. And then from there, like I just started watching TBN and just studying the Bible, right? And so I listened to everybody who was on TBN, even people who weren't on TBN. I was just hungry, right? But anyway, fast forward, my wife and I decided to consecrate ourselves, right? We weren't married at the time, but we were expecting my first daughter. We weren't doing anything, right? Because we felt convicted. But we were living together and whatnot, and so we were consecrated for 2 weeks, like no TV, no music, you know what I mean? Nothing. Like it was just us and the Bible and praying for 2 weeks. We didn't talk to anybody, and my family thought I was in a cult. Like all my family, like my mom who was a Christian, she was going to church. My aunt, one of my aunties, she was like the first Christian in my family, right? She like moved to another state, and she was very involved in her and her husband, my uncle were involved in like the church over there and church planting. Even to this day, they do church planting and whatnot. She came down and she wanted to talk to me, because my mom thought I was in the cult. They thought I was in the cult. It was like, yo, like we just consecrated, like the Lord just, we want to get to know the Lord for ourselves. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Not fulano de tal said, this is what God says. This is, this is what you should believe. We want to know for sure. We want to have that experience, that intimate experience with him, because at that time, up until that point, we had just been reading the Bible and going to church. You know what I'm saying? And so we were just consecrated, like I said. We were fasting, everything, you know. And so sometimes, like, you have to do that. You have to separate yourself from the world just to really focus on God, to get close to Him. I don't think that every time I think sometimes you have to separate yourself from some people, you know. So every time that happens, it doesn't necessarily mean that you join the cult. So I don't know how I would navigate through that, like, going back to it. I don't think I would do anything different, and I'm pretty sure that I would still get the same response, you know what I mean? But I think that those 2 weeks played a major role in my walk. Right after those 2 weeks, actually, when we broke the consecration, that day, it was the day after Christmas. So we didn't even celebrate Christmas. We threw out all our CDs, all our DVDs, like, just everything that, like, was an idol was gone. Everything that was an idol was gone. Anything we anything that we ever, like, I used to boost. I used to do credit card scams and all that. Like, anything that I got, like, that was stolen, I threw it away. Seriously, like, I threw everything away. You know what I mean? Like just purged everything. The day that we broke we broke the consecration, we broke the fast, was the day after Christmas. Both my wife and I woke up and we're like, yo, I think we got to get married. I think God is saying we got to get married, right? Like, yo, I'm thinking that too. I was thinking that too, you know? And we both opened up the Bible, and I just remember, like, Russian roulette style, and I just remember reading go. And we did that 3 times, and the Bible said go, go. You know what I mean? And then right after that, we got married. We got married that same day. Like, we had like $100-$200 in the bank account, probably $100, no, $200, because we bought a ring and we paid for our marriage license. You know what I mean? And we're about to celebrate 25 years this year. So sometimes isolating yourself, sometimes consecration is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think having that intimate time with God is important. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of difficult because watching that, I'm like thinking, like, yo, this is how my family felt. This is how my family felt. They had to be, because they was telling me I was in the cult, and I'm like, nah, bro. Like, I just love Jesus. Like, I just want to get to know Jesus. You know what I mean? Like, right. So how do you navigate through that? Like, how would y'all like to this day? Like, I don't think I would have done anything different. And I feel bad as I watch, like, the mom and the dad and everything, like, share their stuff. Like, dang, that's how my mom felt. Like,
well, did you, like, not talk to them for 2 weeks? Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Were you just ignoring them? Is that what it was?
Well, see, this is way back in the day.
I was gonna say, at the time, it wasn't like, oh, you have your phone all the time,
right?
You can't DM me. You know what I mean? You can't DM me. You can't, like, text.
So it's not that out of
right.
It wasn't that out of character for them not to hear from you for a couple of weeks, or was it like super out of character? Like, were they hearing from you all the time, and then like
they weren't hearing from me all the time? But
okay,
maybe it was something in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, you know what I mean? Let's yank him
different.
out of that.
We knew something changed, but they didn't know. Yeah, maybe it was just like like a dramatic change.
Yeah,
that they
it definitely was. It definitely was a dramatic change, like I said, because we purged everything. We got rid of everything. We didn't even celebrate Christmas at all. Like, people gave us gifts a la basura. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not doing that. You know what I mean? Like, this is a pagan holiday. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, that's what they thought. They were like, oh, okay.
We're not doing that. Jesus wasn't even born in December, son.
Well, that girl, she did talk to her parents for a whole year. But I mean, I don't even know. As a parent, I'd be like, Lord, I give her to you. So you gonna deal with her.
Yeah, and see, and that's the thing too, is like the parents weren't believers, so
right.
Like, they didn't know to pray. They just like, yo, like, you don't have to do that. Wait, how do you know? You're not a believer. Like, how you setting this? You've never experienced God like that. So how do you know? You know what I mean? But I'm like, I'm not trying to give the benefit of the doubt, but nah, this dude's shady, like 100% shady. Like this super they shady. Definitely had legitimate reasons to be concerned. You know what I mean? But as I'm watching, I'm just like, All right, I could see why my mom maybe thought I was bugging or whatever, 'cause she ain't talked to me for like 2 weeks or whatever it was. But yeah, the thing was I wasn't going over there for Christmas and whatnot, right? You're not coming over for Christmas? No, we're not doing that. You know what I mean? We're focusing on Jesus. Like, how am I gonna be celebrating Jesus and I don't know him? You know what I mean? Like Christmas and I don't know Jesus. You know what I mean? Like he's the reason for the season, dog.
That's probably what it was. I think it was probably the Christmas thing, because
Right.
I would think like if one of my cousins that was like wilding out of the streets and stuff, and then it's all of a sudden like, oh, I'm saved now and I'm not coming over because Christmas is pagan, I would be like, oh, they on that stuff.
Right.
And like they're right, but it's a little extreme, like they on that stuff, and then but in my mind, I always think give them a few years up, they'll chill out a little bit, which is like, I don't know if that's like the right way to think about it, because you should be zealous, or you should be like as fervent as you were when you first met Jesus, like, but I think that sometimes like the extreme stuff, I'm like, give them a couple years.
We ain't had a Christmas tree in 25 years to this day.
And now your family's used to that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
See, I think at first it's like, okay,
like, what? You've been doing this all your life, like,
right. At first, it was probably just like shock.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I could see it like I said, in the mom's eyes and the dad, like when they sharing, I'm like, dang.
Yeah, that's so sad.
I kind of felt bad a little bit, but like I don't regret it. Like,
yeah,
like I said, like that kind of like set the tone for like for now, for this moment right here that we were having. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be on no That's Not Christian podcast.
That's true.
I'd be in the cell or in the ground.
So speaking of the girl Miranda, who's still in the 7M Shekinah Church management cult thing, she actually like put out a statement saying basically that her family's crazy and that she just wants to, I don't know, live her life for Jesus or something.
So is she still like dancing? Like she's still like on TikTok dancing and everything? Like you can find her account right now and she's still like,
and she limited her comments, and people were confused because she had some posts from Mother's Day, like, oh, I appreciate you, Mom, what type stuff, and people were like, wait, I'm confused because I just seen the documentary and your sister said you guys weren't talking or whatever, but the third episode the sister did talk about how they did meet up with her, and the contingency on the sister agreeing to meet up with them was they never bring up the church. And so they agreed to that. And the sister was basically saying like she's using these opportunities of us meeting up for social media, like to take the sister that's in the cult. She's using the opportunities to meet with them, like for Christmas, and all this stuff, like as photo ops for social media, like to be like, oh,
for
see,
the gram.
we are on good terms. I am seeing them type of stuff. So yes, exactly. So then obviously after that whole, after the release of the documentary, everybody's flooding her comments, and she had to limit them, and then she came out with that basically explanation, like, yeah, her family's crazy and stuff like that, and
they just don't understand type thing.
Mad unfortunate, honestly.
That's wild. Yeah, I saw that they were blocking the parents too, right? They blocked them and they deleted comments and stuff like that. In the first episode, I saw that.
Some of them were blocking the numbers, like they couldn't text them, or they weren't like responding to their texts and stuff like that.
Oh, and they said that somebody
was replying.
On their behalf. It's like, no, this is not her. I know how my sister talks. She don't talk like this.
That is
so weird, man.
It is weird.
Oh my god, what would you do, Twin, if I got into a cult? What would your reaction be?
I'd tell your dad. We would go down there and get you out.
But would you tell me something?
She said, "I'm riding shotgun."
Yeah, well, as it was happening.
What if I said you a text saying, "Hey, like I can't, I'm not gonna be able to see you for the next month because I'm doing this like opportunity with social media and
because you're a real Israelite."
Something like that.
Like that's it though? Like that's all you say?
I don't know. It just didn't sound like me. What if it didn't sound like me?
I'd probably call your mom. or your sister and be like, have you guys talked to her? Have you heard from her?
No. She said she was with you.
Oh my God. I'd be like, no, she wasn't. And then we'd figure out where the frick you were and go get you.
But with y'all, it'd probably be weird. Well, I guess it'd be like Miranda and Melanie, right? Because that's how close y'all are. Like, you would know, like, if it's been a couple of days, like, you like, yo, what's going on with?
Not
you
even
mad at me?
that.
Yeah. If we don't hear from, if me and her don't hear from each other like all day, one of us will text the other one and be like, "What, you found another twin?" We're toxic like that.
Yeah, for sure. And
we check each other's location. It'll be like, "Oh, you went here without me."
Wait, why you turn off your location though? Right?
Exactly.
That's what she was telling me one time because I was in a dead zone and she was like, she turned off her location. That's suspicious.
Trying to play me.
I was literally in a dead zone. Like I had no service. That's why the location was off.
But... No, and then it was off for like the next like 2 weeks. And I'm like,
but I showed you that I had it on.
I'm like, it's still off. What are you doing?
I showed her that I had it on. No, I don't know what my phone was doing. I had to like turn it all the way off and like turn it back on again. But
Sounds
she kept
suspicious,
saying I was being suspicious.
For sure.
That's not.
We got to make sure that she's not in a cult.
That's wild. Well, what would you do if your sister was like in a cult?
Oh yeah, my dad. We'd definitely drag her out.
Pull up.
It would not be cute. No, yeah. But yeah, and that's the thing too. Some of these people don't even have family. Like, what do you do in that situation?
Yeah,
you know, like, do you just live your life in this cult for the rest of your life? Or like, that's so sad.
I know. It is sad. Because I actually watched this other documentary on the Branch Davidians. It was like Waco, Apocalypse in Waco or something like that was the name of it on Netflix.
Yeah,
and the people were talking about some of the people that were in the cult were like talking about it. And they still like stand by like agreeing or like believing in that stuff, you know? So I don't know. Sometimes I'm like...
That documentary is actually that whole situation is a rabbit hole.
I know
that whole situation because there's conflicting stories of what was
going on,
even like the raid, why it happened. Some of those allegations a lot of people are saying are not true, some people are saying are true. It's kind of difficult, but that would be a good one. That would be a good documentary to explore too.
So, well, that documentary, I felt like it was okay, but I mean, I've watched like or whatever fan made type ones on YouTube and stuff like that, and those ones I felt like gave more information. But the reason why this documentary was different was because they actually did have people from the cult or that were born into it or grew up in the compound actually giving their testimony. So one of the ladies though, she really was still like riding for the Branch Davidians. Like she was talking and she was really still riding for him, even though they like it was weird. It was gross and weird, but she was still like, she still believed in it. She still believed that
that dude was David Koresh. She thought he was the Messiah.
Yeah, she still
I thought he was Jesus.
Yeah, he did.
That's crazy. Everybody thinks they're Jesus.
Everybody.
Perform some miracles. Walk on water. Go right now.
Right now.
Go right now. No, I actually, you guys reminded me. I'd seen this documentary. I don't know what it was called. I forgot. It was last year. I think it was on Netflix, and I think it might still be on the Netflix. But this lady, she was saying that she was like God or something and of the nature. And she was drinking like liquid silver or something like that. And she actually killed herself because she was, I don't know. It was crazy though.
She died because of the silver?
Yes, because she
drank too much silver.
It wasn't silver. It was something else, like a mineral. Okay. I forgot what it was called. I'm gonna find it. No, it was something like that for real. And she killed herself, and they like were filming her dead in the bed. It was crazy.
No.
Yes, and people were like living with her in this jungle or whatever. Well, it wasn't jungle, but it was a house that like out in the boonies.
Yeah.
And stuff, and it was just crazy. It was crazy.
What about those people that thought they were like gonna go into space or something like that?
With the jumpsuits and the Nikes. What were they called? Starship Enterprise or something like that, right?
Something crazy.
Yeah, they like what?
Why? Like, wow.
But like, how do you get to the point of believing that that's legit? Like, what you need, what's gonna save you? This is like, how do you get to that point?
Yes, this one. Love has won. That's it.
Okay.
I think that was it. And she drank.
Oh, the mother god or whatever.
Yep, she.
Is that on Netflix?
So when y'all have a chance.
Yeah,
that's her.
Is it on Netflix?
She was like making
HBO,
money. She was making a buku bucks too, like doing little sessions online, doing little auras and stuff, reading their I don't know what, and people were like booking. It was crazy.
See, how do you get to the point of like believing that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or even the Starship Enterprise. How do you get to the point of like, let's put on these sweatsuits and these Nikes and we're all gonna meet each other like after we die? Or Jim Jones, how do you get to going all the way down to Jonestown?
Okay, that well, yes, but like that one, like he tricked people into like he killed those people. Like it wasn't like they said, yeah, let's
no true. But how did you get to the point of going down to Jonestown with this man?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all down in South America. Like how did you get
we out?
Because I know a lot of the church left. Right. A lot of the church left before that because he did like a couple of fake outs with like the cyanide inside the church that he had. And it was here in California, right? It was like in San Francisco or something where he was. He was somewhere here.
Where it was.
Maybe it wasn't San Francisco. It was somewhere here in California. But I know that he did like a couple of fake outs in service where he had them take communion and then was like, oh, it's cyanide where you're all gonna die type thing. And then was like, oh, I'm just kidding. Yes, he did that like 2 times before going down to Jonestown.
Just and kidding. Actually, unless you're gonna do it.
Just kidding. Unless you're not. You know, like it was crazy. So that's what, like a lot of the church had left before that point. But I'm just like wondering what brings somebody to that place of like, this is legit. This is real. I really believe in this. Like, how do you get to that point?
They want something. People want something to believe in.
Creative Network says she was drinking vibranium.
She was drinking colloidal silver. Colloidal silver.
That's funny.
I've had that. I've had colloidal silver.
No, she was ODing though. That's all she was like consuming.
She was like
it was
chugging
crazy.
40 ounce
bottles.
Yes. And she wasn't eating apparently.
Have you seen that blue dude? The old man?
Yeah. No, it was turning her blue. And that's why they were like, what the heck? And then they're like, girl, this is killing you. And she's still like, no, it's healing me. Like, girl, no, you're dead as hell. It's killing you.
But you're blue though.
Right. Blue dabba diva dabba da. Girl.
Wait, Jays, you said you drink colloidal silver?
I've had it before, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. For like health purposes or something, or
yeah, like so but you like only supposed to take like a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons. That's why I was asking, like, how much did you take? Like I haven't had any in a while, but I've taken it before. And you're supposed to have like a spoon or 2, like, so I was like, wait, she died because of that? Because people still take it to this day, like it's like, you know, it's supposed to be therapeutic.
No, she was like, that's all she was consuming. It was crazy.
Wow.
It was sad, honestly.
It's saying she weighed 75 pounds when she died.
Oh, well, that might be another reason. That's all. She's like, I'm just gonna live. Like people who say that they live off of the sun, they don't eat. Have you heard that?
No.
How long do they live for?
I think they capping, but yeah, they push that.
That's crazy.
Kyle said, unfortunately, it's ignorance, and in other cases, pride or rebelliousness. Creative Network said vulnerability.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Like, how do you get to that point where, you know, you want to believe in something so bad that like you'll put on a jumpsuit of Nikes and drink poison?
We're created to worship. I mean, and
yeah,
a lot of people worship false things, you know. That's crazy though.
And if they're telling you your aura is something special, you're unique, you got something to give, you are like, they're literally perverting the body.
What's in that cash app?
Real talk. For real. And if nobody told them they look beautiful before, this person is constantly telling you look beautiful, you gonna send that $1 every minute. That's crazy.
No, I'm pretty sure that this pastor from Shekinah was probably using like pimp tactics, you know what I mean? Breaking them down and then building them up, like, you know.
He was telling them a dream for sure, because he was, you know, telling them, oh, I could get you money and stuff like that. And and they're seeing that he has 20 houses and, you know, all this
stuff. They don't know that they paid for it though.
Okay, seriously.
I was curious. I'm curious. I only saw the first episode, but did they go into his backstory? Like, how did he come to like the level that he's at? Because um, it seems like that dude. I forgot his name. The Miranda's husband.
Mm-hmm.
B-Dash?
Yeah, B Dash. Yeah. And Miranda are like his biggest stars. So like, how did he get the bag before that? I'm curious. But like he didn't have his church was invite only, and it didn't seem like there was like a lot of people, or at least the documentary didn't seem like it was a big church.
All his businesses.
Yeah, all the businesses. He had all these different people doing free labor for him before before he did the TikTok dances with the management.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So he had tried to make movie studios before, but like make that happen for himself. Like he wanted to be like an executive producer or whatever. So he made like a couple films, like low budget films. But when I don't know, probably because they showed clips of him. They showed clips of him in the documentary. But if you probably look up Robert Shin on IMDb, maybe his stuff will come up. But he wanted to when his son met whoever the first, I think it was B Dash or one of the first dancers that he met. That's when he thought to himself, "Oh, okay, I can manage these TikTok dancers, and that'll be like his break into that industry type thing." Because he had like real estate stuff, he had like coffee shops, different like a bunch of different.
I just knew about the house that he gave them, because they mentioned in the first episode. So I was kind of curious, like, where did he get his bread? Because they did mention that he was driving like these fancy cars. He's like, you can have this, you know, glory to Jesus or something like that. And I was like, whoa, this dude crazy. He sounded like one of the first pastors church I went to.
I think he just had the cheap labor situation going on. It's really
the Shein
it was. It was sad. It was really sad. He had like basically and he was moving the teens around to his different houses and stuff like that, and waking them up at 5 a.m. and like had managers. Like it was
getting massages,
and he's over here getting massages,
and he's still free.
He's still free because they tried to sue him. The Korean sister that stayed until 2022, she basically has she's tried to open a lawsuit against him because of his sexual abuse. But basically what the documentary was saying is it's hard to prove sexual abuse. So they were like, you need like more women to come forward. And they did. The women did, but it still was like, we can't really prove it. Like it's not enough.
Horrible.
So it's unfortunate.
That's horrible. They just need to drum bomb that church.
Maybe they need to have a Waco standoff.
Dang.
I
mean, if these grown women are saying that, you know what I mean, like they experienced this,
right?
You know, that's wild.
So he's still free.
Dad's Against Shekinah Church. That's what they need to start a new gang or something like that.
For real. Jay Acosta, we're not reading your fake news super chat.
Dang. Not fake news super chat.
Oh, I didn't even see it. What'd he say?
They don't even rhyme.
It's supposed to say West Coast. Oh, he said, thank you, Jay Acosta. It's a typo for the $9.99. West Coast is the best coast. Thank you very much.
He spelled West wrong.
Yeah, he spelled it. Because, I'm sure he misspelled it because West rhymes with best. I think that's what it is. Thank you for that, by the way.
But yeah. Don't get into any cults, guys.
So you guys finished all 3 episodes?
Yeah.
And so any other cult documentaries you guys are interested in now, or?
I just watched that Waco one. I used to watch a lot of these different videos and listen to different podcasts and stuff that were like about that type of stuff. The craziest one was like the Ant Hill Gang. Oh, don't even watch that one. That one's crazy. Don't even look that up. That's crazy.
That's sad.
That one was disgusting and crazy.
That Love Has Won one was crazy too.
That's the one with the Indian dude, the yoga dude.
Which one? For which one? The Ant Hill Gang?
No, the one you
Love Has Won. No, that's the one that she was talking about. The lady that had the colloidal silver. My bad.
Oh, there's one that there's like there was this Indian dude who
in
came
the dorms.
He came here. No, and he bought some land somewhere, and it was like a commune. It was like in the 70s or something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
I think
it was like Love
I've watched a
something.
couple.
Maybe it could be something.
There's this one where somebody's daddy, it was a cult, and somebody's daddy was staying in the dorms with them, and he turned into this crazy guy, and it was really sad because these were kids. They're young kids. They're so gullible, and he starts like basically pimping them. Not that way, but just like using them for their money, making them buy stuff, like all like basically.
How did he convince him to stay in the dorm though? Like
with somebody's dad.
I'm just gonna stay here. Like I don't understand.
Yes. So he was just bumming it up. He was just a bum. That's really.
And then he ends up like psychologically something, and then they end up moving to a different like I don't know if it was like in Hawaii, and he ends up with these two girls, and they're like so brainwashed. It's so sad. It's really sad because even after he gets like apprehended because they have enough evidence or whatever, the two girls are staying there because they really believe that whatever, like they were like trying to stay loyal to him and stuff. And he was like locking the fridges at night and like, or like all day. It was crazy.
Wow. He didn't let him eat?
No. Like he like had like did little portions. He would like abuse them. It was really sad. It was crazy. I need to
He's like, I'm their nutritionist. The documentary I was talking about is called Wild Wild Country.
Wild Wild Country. This is what the Indian, you're saying the Indian dude?
Yeah. Yeah. And this was here. He like he made everyone believe like that he was like some sort of, I don't know, prophet or something.
Dang. The one that I'm talking about is called Stolen Youth on Hulu. It's crazy.
So Stolen Youth, Wild Wild Country. But what were you saying, Jezza? He made everybody believe that he was
like a prophet or something like that. But he was a predator.
They always are though.
He was like smashing everybody.
And that's the thing. That's what it always turned into. And I'm like, how are people not?
Yeah. Well, that's what happened. That's what they alleged that happened with David Koresh.
Yeah. Well, that's what one of the ladies was saying, and she was still with it. That's what yeah.
Well, that Nature Boy, remember he had AIDS?
Yes.
He was giving them to everybody.
Oh no.
Yes.
Because this girl that used to go that kind of grew up in my church, like halfway. She ended up joining the cult that we're talking about, where the dude was giving everybody. She did. She went down to South America.
What? She went all the way down there?
Yes,
like, why? How? Like, what?
To live, I don't know. To live off the land or whatever and stuff. And the dude that leads.
After she went to your church or before she went?
This is after. This is like years later. Like
she said, she's leaving your church. I'm going down to.
She used to come to. I think that I can't remember her full backstory. I don't know if she used to come to my church with her grandmother. It was something like that. But she didn't come all the time. She would only come like sometimes. And this is when I was a kid. So this was like, and then so more recently, so probably like I hadn't seen her in 6-7 years or something like that. And then I think I was friends with her on Facebook or something. And that's how I saw that she had went down to South America and like joined this cult. And then we like me and my twin had like looked it up and stuff on YouTube, and there were like videos of people like exposing the guy. Yes, the guy, because she was like literally a part of this cult.
Yeah.
And then when she ended up leaving. She probably was only down there for like maybe 3 months or something. And then when she came back, then she started like trash talking the dude, and that's what we were like, what happened?
Yeah.
So yeah, he was giving everybody AIDS.
Mm-hmm. That was crazy.
Dang.
It was wild.
See, like. That's crazy. Like, bro, do you not read your Bible? Like, why are you smashing this pastor, prophet, evangelist? Like,
that's crazy.
What part of the Bible is that?
Okay.
Like, oh, I see it here. Love has won, the cult of Mother God. All right, that's going on my list. All right. Anything else about this this document? I can't wait to. I'm as soon as we get off, I'm gonna go watch the rest of it.
Please do.
Yeah.
Jay Acosta said, "Demon." No, seriously.
For real. Honestly.
But no. Other than, please be sober and be vigilant. Facts. Everyone out there, anybody is, and if you're trying to break into the entertainment industry and somebody's trying to sell you a dream and tell you that you owe them 75%. or taking 75% and would run.
I could do it for less. So
That's
What did they 75? Do it for 74.
exactly.
Dang. Is it only 3 episodes? Yes, Jay Acosta. It is only 3 episodes.
Yeah, I'm already done with the first one. I just watched it like I said earlier this afternoon, twice the speed. Oh no, 1.5 I think is Netflix.
Yeah.
It's really I love the way it was edited and everything.
It was good. It was really good, really creative.
Very creative. Yeah, but this is episode 236 of Word of the Day.
Word of the day.
I forgot about the word of the day. 1 hour.
Oh, stay away from Cali, come to Texas.
That's where Waco was. What are you talking about?
Right, it's literally what I was thinking.
What are you talking about? So the word of the day. You want to read it, Kasari? It's your word of the day.
Yeah, speaking of COVID, this was my medicine. But he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace. And with his stripes, we are healed.
Amen.
In Jesus' name.
That's the Bible.
Amen. So this
All
is
right,
episode 236. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. And
yes.
Don't forget to click the links in the description. You know what I mean? A lot of links in there to help us out. You know what I mean? Thank you for Jay for that that $9.99 today. Yes, West Coast is the best coast.
75% is gonna go to Robert Shin.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace.
Peace.